Hey Queens, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing penne with pork sausage, beef, and eggplant. And these are the ingredients. If you want to try this recipe, just keep on watching. I started off by boiling some hot water and adding some salt in preparation for the pasta. On the side, as you can see, I'm also boiling some of the ragu pasta sauce that I will be using. I used a 16-ounce bag of penne pasta, and I'm going to just move it around so that it doesn't stick together or to the bottom of the pot. I make sure that the pasta is al dente, and then I remove it and drain it and set it to the side. Once that's done, then I start preparing the meat. The first meat that I usually cook is the pork, and right now I'm just removing the pork sausage from the casings. I think that's what it's called. If someone can comment below and tell me if that's the correct terminology for what covers the sausage, I would appreciate it. So here I'm just placing it all in one bowl. I put a tablespoon of olive oil to my pan and just move the oil around. I didn't add a lot because the pork sausage already has some fat and it will render more. So now I'm just placing the pork sausage in the pan and I'm going to fry it. Hopefully it's not that taxing because it's not like beef where it breaks apart easily. Pork sausage is usually really hard to break up, and in hindsight what I should have done was just made like very small mini meatballs and cooked it that way. That would have been easier to, one, cook, and two, to place in the pasta. But nonetheless, I'm breaking it up and I'm going to allow it to cook. Once I see that the bottom of the sausage is browning, I'm going to flip it around and continue to break up the pieces. This took some time, but is well worth it because you don't want a huge bite of sausage. You want a tiny bite of sausage when you are eating the pasta. Here you can see that it is fully cooked. You can see some of the browner bits on the bottom, and it's time to remove and set it to the side. Next up is the cubed eggplant, and I use the same pan so that it can absorb the flavor of the pork sausage. Now I'm going to start preparing the ground meat. These are the ingredients. I actually had to move the ingredients and the meat to a larger bowl because it was just a lot for that small bowl that I was intending to use. So here you're going to see me add the 2 eggs, ketchup, breadcrumbs, dried oregano, liquid amino, cumin, and the reduced sodium beef bouillon powder, and a packet of sazon. There you go. So I'm just going to add all of the ingredients and start mixing with my hand. Growing up, my mom always told me, right, that if you wanted your food to taste good, you had to just wash your hands and just get in there with your hands, right? Whether you're marinating meat, you want to massage the meat, or whether you're seasoning, I don't know, vegetables, if you want to throw them in the oven with some olive oil and salt and pepper, anything at all, you have to use your hands. There are a lot of people who feel really funny about that, but I've never had an issue with it. Here I added 1 tablespoon of olive oil, no more than that, because again the meat has some fat and we still have some fat rendered from the pork sausage. So I'm going to add it to the pan. I'm going to let it sit there until it gets brown on the bottom. It looks like a lot of meat, but it wasn't a lot of meat. So I'm going to let it sit there and I'm going to move it around. Now when you start seeing some bubbling, from the bottom of the pan, that means that you can start turning it over and moving it around. What I decided to do is cover it so that it can cook fully, and then once I uncovered it, you start seeing the juices from the meat on the bottom of the pan. I didn't want it soupy, so I uncovered it and I continued to let it cook that way. This is absolutely one of my favorite things to do when I'm cooking pasta, and that's adding cheese. Mozzarella cheese is my favorite cheese, and I cannot confirm or deny that I had a couple of slices. I didn't want to overeat because, it's not healthy, but, once in a blue, it's not too bad to have some cheese. So I continued to slice it, and then I was going to start cubing it. I usually shred my mozzarella cheese, but, I opted not to because I wanted to add chunks to my pasta. I didn't want to have shredded cheese this time. I don't want it stringy. I want it like bulky, if that makes any sense. So now I'm just gonna add pasta sauce to the bottom of my baking dish. I don't know where I got this. I've been doing this since I was like a teenager, when my mom taught me how to make lasagna. I'm sure that this is the correct method because I've seen it on YouTube videos, and so I guess since I was young, I've always cooked intuitively. So I'm gonna add some of my cooked pasta, and then I'm gonna continue doing this, and then start layering my meat. After the pasta, I add the ground beef. I make sure that I cover the pasta, and next I'm going to add the pork sausage. The bits are small, the way that I wanted. And here goes the eggplant. I didn't overcook the eggplant because I wanted it to have some bite, and when it cooks in the oven, it's going to fully cook. I didn't want it mushy. I wanted it chunky. Now I'm gonna add some of the cubes or some of the smaller pieces of the mozzarella that I cut up first. I did use the entire bar or the entire block of mozzarella that I purchased. And then the first layer, I'm going to use half of it. Once I do that, then I cover it with the pasta sauce. This is the first pasta layering that I make. And then I'm going to toss everything around. I'm going to mix it well, and this is what it's going to look like once it's mixed. The first mix, I'm going to start adding some of the additional pasta sauce because I need to use it all up, and this is a lot of pasta. This is a huge dish. Here goes the second layering of pasta sauce, and I'm gonna fully cover the dish again before mixing it again with that big spoon. And now that it's been fully covered and mixed, I'm gonna add the second half of the mozzarella cheese, and I'm adding the chunks because I wanted to, like I said, I don't want it to be stringy when I cut into it. I wanted to have chunks of cheese with every serving. After mixing it well, I placed it in a preheated oven, 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I placed it there for 1 hour. Once the timer went off, I checked it to make sure that everything was melted and fully cooked, and I was careful not to burn myself when uncovering it. This served 8 people in total, and everyone raved about it. If you like this recipe, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.